What is up? What is up? How we doing, Zinger Nation?
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Good to see you guys. Missed you last week.
Yeah. We need to get our options education back
We
going.
do. We do. I feel like we're a week behind.
So let's see. What do we got pulled up here? OCGN. I don't know if I'm saying that right. OCGN, maybe.
Yeah, OCGN, sure. OCGN. That's what I say it as.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you. I'm gonna hop off for a sec. I'll let you get straight to the education, and yeah, we should have the rest of the viewers coming in from cannabis soon.
Thanks for your help, man. I appreciate it. Well, it's good to see everybody tonight. Thank you for tuning in. As I mentioned, we were off last week. Benzinga had a conference during the entire day. If you've never seen one of those conferences before, let me tell you, they are fantastic. And I don't say that just because I am a part of them. They are, I mean, it's a good opportunity to learn more about small cap stocks and to learn little bit more about how to trade those stocks. Last week, I taught on real briefly. I made a tweet. Actually, I said I talked more words in a short amount of time than I ever had in my whole entire life last Thursday. So this week, we are back with our normal live show. If you are new, my name is Brad. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am the host of Technically Options. I am a full-time options trader, and I say options because that's really the only thing I trade. I don't I don't like hate trading commons or anything like that. I don't even know. Gosh, maybe let me think here. It's May, maybe like 5, 6 months ago. I decided that options were my thing, and I decided that I was going to trade and focus exclusively on options. And so I put all my energy into trading options. I study options. I focus on the options. And so that's what I guess you could say that I understand more is options trading. And so I do trade commons every once in a while. And by every once in a while, I mean I was trying to think of that before the show came on. I really don't even remember the last time I traded a commons. I have literally no idea. I mean, I guess I just trade. I guess I just trade options. So there's once you kind of develop a strategy for something that works for you, options is my thing. I, I don't have a now we have long-term commons in our portfolio and things like that for my son and for my wife. We have a portfolio where we've invested into shares of companies and things like that, obviously. But I am a day trader by nature. And so my goal on a daily basis as I'm sitting in front of the computer is to trade as quickly as possible and to make as most money as I can. And I've just decided that options is what brings me the best return on my investments. And so I am again primarily an options trader. I am a scalper of options trading. A lot of people ask me, they ask me crazy questions about options, like rolling them out and like, how do I do this and how do I do that? Like, listen, like I'll be 100% honest with you. I am as quick as possible as you can with an options trader. Like I'm literally just like flipping contracts back and forth all day long. I am not, I have, the term is leaps. It is leaps means like really far out of the money, really far away from expiration options contracts. I do a couple of those. However, my biggest thing when I am trading options is I am trading options that are expiring, tomorrow, or I'm trading options that are expiring in just to kind of give you an overview. I trade weekly options a lot. So like today, for example, I was trading tomorrow's expiration options. Now tomorrow is an interesting day because tomorrow is the monthly expiration. The third Friday of every month is when options expire, and tomorrow is actually that third Friday. So we have a kind of a mix of what would be a weekly option, but it's actually a monthly option. So if you got in early enough, your theta wasn't destroying you as much, and now you're able to kind of like pick up a little bit more of some of the gains. But we'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. But primarily I am day trading options. And when I am day trading options, I mean, I am flipping for 10 to 30% on a regular basis. I am trying to maintain a consistency of 10 to 30% of my profit on options contracts. And so when I flip options contracts, I am not concerned about long term. I'm not concerned about exercising contracts way down the road. I am only concerned about flipping that premium back and forth. So if I buy for $1, my goal is to flip for $1.50. If I'm buying for $1.25, my goal is to flip for $1.75. Depending on which one of the options that I'm playing, that's how I determine what I'm flipping for profit. Anywhere from 10 to 30% is what my goal is. Now, a lot of times people will ask me, how do I find these options that enables me to do that? Because listen, it's tough. Like you could find one of these penny stocks that's, I had OCGN pulled up here, and the reason why I wanted to talk about that. But you could find a penny stock that's running, and you could think like, how in the world can I flip that for 10 to 30%? When in reality, it's not moving at all. The spread is so wide, I can't even get filled on an order. You've got to be able to get in at the right time. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about tonight, is how to maintain a consistency when it comes to getting your order filled. And then I also want to talk about some of the unusual options volume that we've seen over the last 24 hours and where you can find options to get involved with. That's another thing that out of all the questions that I get asked, people are always asking me questions throughout the week, like, when it comes to options trading, when it comes to like, how do I maintain consistency as an options trader? How do I get better as an options trader? One of the questions that I get asked all the time is, how do you find the options to trade that produce the results that enable you to be a full-time options trader? Now, I'll be honest with you. I am very focused on options. I am only trading a specific realm of tickers. I am not scanning. I've kind of gotten away from doing the now listen, I'll be fully transparent with you. If I could trade every single ticker that was involved in the market, I would trade every single ticker that is involved in the market. I like to know what's going on in the markets. I like to see from a perspective of like, who has the biggest volume, who's got the most open interest, who's got the biggest, like, I like to see those things. Okay. But one of the things that I had to realize was I cannot allow myself to get distracted by all of the different tickers going on in the world. I needed to focus in on specific tickers that I know that are going to produce the results that I'm trying to get. And that's one of the things as an options trader that you have to recognize, that you have to recognize that as an options trader, we are different. We're unique people. We're a different breed. I, again, primarily trade options. So I am focusing in on what ticker is going to be giving me the best chance of high options volume, high open interest volume, high, all of the other things that we'll talk about. That's my goal as an options trader. Now, let me just say this too. If you are, I'm trying to pull up the chat real quick. If you are in the chat and you have a specific ticker that you would like to see, I can pull it up on the charts. I can talk about it from a Greek's perspective. Please feel free to drop it in the chat, and I will be more than happy to talk to you about whatever ticker you are looking to get into. But just make sure that that ticker actually has options, because again, we're an options primary show, and so we are looking to get into options trading, and we're looking to help you become a better options trader. And obviously, that's, we got to have, not every ticker has options. Let me just say that. I don't know if you actually know that, but not every ticker has options. Somebody said, actually, how would you play PLTR? PLTR. Let me pull that up on the chart here. Okay, let's take a look here. PLTR. Let's take a look at the daily real quick. All right, so PLTR. One of the things that you want to notice right away is that PLTR is in a clear downtrend. I use a variety of technical, and now let me back way up. Let me just say this real quick. I use a variety of technical analysis indicators, and I'm a big technical analysis guy. And the big thing that we do on this show is we talk about technical analysis and options trading. Now, you might be thinking, why is that such an important thing to know? Options trading is primarily disconnected from technical analysis. You need to focus on the Greeks and the volume and price action and stuff like that. Absolutely. However, I am of the nature that you need to understand technical analysis also. And so one of the big things that I've become really focused in on lately is looking at support and resistance levels when it comes to trading options. One of the things that I love the most is this, what's called the linear regression channel. Now, I use TradingView, and TradingView has a built-in indicator for the linear regression channel. And what this does is it actually just very quickly tells you from a real quick snapshot of what the stock is doing, what the uptrend, downtrend, what the stock is doing. And real quickly, it doesn't take much to see that this stock is in a downtrend. Okay. So on the daily, PLTR is kind of maintaining, even if you look at this right here, let's take this recent low. It's still in a downtrend. Okay. If it gets above, what's this number here? Maybe, if this gets above 21, it might have some legs to run. But I mean, just looking at this from an overall perspective, this is in a clear downtrend. Now, let me just say this. I have no position in this. I have, no bias towards the stock. I'm not involved in this stock at all. I am just simply looking at the technical analysis of the chart. And real quickly, if we were to look at what I'm showing you on the chart right now, we show the linear regression channel. It is what? It is a clear downtrend. Okay. There's not much else that I can, it's just in a clear downtrend. Now, when we switch to the other ones, if we switch to like a, 1 hour or anything like that, it seems to have broken the channel. If we switch to like a 5 minute, if you're trying to do a scalp, it's showing that it's in an uptrend. Okay. That's where you need to understand like what type of options trader or what type of trader are you? Because that's the important thing. Now, let me click back real quick. So the daily, the overall like trend of PLTR is showing it's in a downtrend. Okay. The overall, the highs and the lows, it's just in this channel right here that it's in a downtrend. Okay. Now, let's say, for example, if you were trying to be a day trader of options, if you're trying to just trade back and forth premiums in order to buy low, sell high. Now, that's another thing that I do. Let me say this real quick. I am only buying and selling contracts in order to flip for higher premium. I am not interested in exercising contracts. I am not interested in a lot of people ask me, do I roll out contracts? Do I, I have contracts in my long-term portfolio where I've just sort of bought and I've put to the side and, they're 6 months out, 3 months out, whatever it is. When I am trading actively, I am not concerned about exercising contracts. My goal is to buy a contract for $1 and sell it for $1.50. My goal is to buy a contract for $2 and sell it for $4. If I'm buying 10 contracts, 20, 50, whatever the amount is, my goal is to buy low and sell high. So from an overall perspective, if I was getting involved in PLTR, my first thing that I would do is I would go to the 5-minute chart. The 5-minute chart is what I scalp from. Okay. The 5-minute is what I do all of my in and out work from. So what I do from a day trading perspective is I am doing a 8/21 EMA cross. That's my strategy. I am focusing on the 8 EMA crossing above the 21 EMA as far as one of my entry signals in order to buy and sell one of these contracts. So let me just show you real quick what that looks like. So I use TradingView as far as my main trading, my main charting strategy. You can see right here there's a cross. Let me show you this real quick. Here's a cross right here. The white line is the 8-day EMA. The green line is the 21. I am entering when the white line cross above the green. Now, that's not my only entry signal. That's just my primary entry signal. Okay. I also am using some other indicators. I am that's another thing that's really it's tough to talk about with options trading, because when it really comes down to it, you have to play candles, you have to play volume, you have to there's so many other things besides technical analysis that you have to play. However, in order to set yourself up for the best success, you need to have a entry signal. You need to have a system that is going to tell you, yeah, it's time for me to enter this stock. Like what's my signal as far as entering in and flipping back and forth the premium. So right here, here's what I would here's what one of my signals would be. Okay, so this big, huge white candle. Now, again, my candles are different colors. It really doesn't matter what color your candles are. Whatever you think is better. I just can't stand looking at green and red. I think I like white and red. I flip back and forth between blue and red. But this big candle right here, this caused a cross. The white crossed above the green. Okay. So that's the 8-day crossing above the 21. That's my entry signal. So that's the first thing I'm looking for. Now, if you were to just real quickly, if you were to just go based upon that signal, now you have to look right here because this did not cross. It bounced off of it. Okay. Right here's the cross. This would be an entry for me. And obviously that candle, that's a huge candle. That's an entry for me. And I'm basically riding that out. Afterwards, I am in and out based upon, first off, volume. First, I don't necessarily leave when the 21 crosses down upon the 8. A lot of people, like when they hear my 8/21 day EMA cross, they think, well, I've got to wait until that 21 crosses above the 8. And there's a lot of times where I've actually lost money. Like, no, not at all. My entry, okay, my entry. My entry is based upon the 8/21. My exit is not based upon that at all. Now, there are certain stocks, like for example, when you get into one of the quicker movers, the Teslas, the triple Qs, the SPY, you can use that 8/21 in the opposite. So if you use the 8/21 for an entry, you can use the opposite, the 21/8, as an exit. Doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be right. However, when you have an underlying contract that is moving a lot more, PLTR, for example, is not one of those huge, like it's not really moving a lot. When I talk about contracts that are moving a lot, I mean like the SPY, Triple Q, Tesla, Apple, the AMDs, Ford, for example, today, NIO, Microsoft, American Airlines. Like there's a lot of tickers that their options contracts, they move like crazy. Like they go. Okay. And that's something else that you need to be aware of, is what ticker is going to bring you the best response when you're buying into a contract. I mean, like you could buy an option. That's just another thing. I try to like not get ahead of myself and things like that, but I get an idea in my head and I've got to run with it. When we get into the not all penny stocks have options. Not all lower price stocks have options. But, for example, the OCGNs, that one has options. When you get an alert on a penny stock or a lower priced stock that is running, and you pull up an options contract, the first thing that you're going to notice is that the spread between the bid and the ask is huge. When I played OCGN today, that was one of the tickers that I got involved in. First off, obviously this is like going to sound weird that I'm shouting this out, but I use Benzinga Pro. I listen to the squawk all day long. I listen to the signals all day long. Listen, it is the number one, without a doubt, best platform. Again, you can like say, oh yeah, well, you're with Benzinga. Like, listen, like, no, like I use Benzinga Pro way before I was on this platform. It's the best news platform available. I got an alert that OCGN had a price spike. I pulled up OCGN options. I got involved with an option at a low price. I sold on a big candle. Okay. That's one of the examples of when you get involved with a stock that has an unusual volume. That's one of the examples of like, you need to pay attention to these stocks that have like you need to know, like, for example, if you are saying I want to be an options trader, like what's one of the things that I need to focus on as an options trader in order to be better? First thing you need to know is like what stocks actually have options. That's one of the big things that, like, you know, I get a lot of times, like we've sort of cooled down with the penny stocks. And like, listen, like I love penny stocks. Don't get me wrong. Like I love penny stocks. I love these little runners. I love these low floaters. I love them. But listen, like we've calmed down a little bit. And like, that's just being 100% real with you guys. That's just like, we've calmed down on the penny stocks. We have, it's just not the same as it was last year. And that's fine. Like, listen, like it's not, I'm not saying it's never coming back. I'm just saying that like right now it's not the same. So when you are getting involved with a stock, like let's say, for example, OCGN, okay, that was a runner for today. They had, I believe it was vaccine news. I believe they had some sort of a trial on vaccine where they were involved with a with some sort of again, I'm not focusing in primarily on what the exact news is. My goal is as a trader. Okay. Again, I'm not an investor. You know, we have long-term stuff that we're focused in on, but my goal as a trader, as a Monday through Friday trader, my goal is to find what in the world is going on and when it comes to volume. OCGN was one of those stocks that had a huge volume spike. Let me actually, let's pull the chart here and I can show you. Okay. So, let me see what time that was. I had an alert, I want to say right about here, right about in this section. And the alert was for unusual activity. Yeah, unusual activity is one of the options traders' best friends. Unusual activity basically shows a difference between the normal options volume and the average volume over the past month. Okay. So basically, when it comes to trading unusual options activities, now there are, let me just say this too. There are maybe hundreds of unusual options activities scanners. There are hundreds of unusual options activity Twitter accounts. Like there are, it seems like that's the big thing to do. Now, I don't mean that as an attack on anybody, because there is one, I won't say their name. There is one that I personally really like. I use their information. Again, I'm not paid towards them. I'm not, so we're not going to get into like, sponsorship or anything like that. However, there are a ton of unusual options activity Twitter accounts, alerts, and things like that. Most of the time, when you are getting an unusual options activity alert, we've way passed it. Okay. We're already way beyond the time that alert went out. Unless you have a subscription service to an unusual options service, you've already kind of, you've missed it. And so what I do when I'm trading, again, this is me who sits in front of 5 monitors all day long, open to close, 10 hours a day. When I get an alert that I hear that a stock has unusual volume, I am immediately going to that stock and seeing what's happening. And OCGN was one of those. OCGN was one of those stocks that got it actually got the Discord call out, as I call it. Because a couple of Discord channels got a hold of it and they called the stock out, which actually caused, I believe it was this candle right here. I think it's this one. Again, I could be wrong, but I got involved in OCGN about right here. I played the OCGN contracts were extremely cheap. Let me actually, I'm gonna pull up. Oh, you know what? It won't actually show it because it was that was from earlier today. The OCGN calls for the 950 strike were extremely cheap. They were like 22 cents, I think. They were they were real cheap. So what I did in this situation right here, when I had the alert for the unusual volume, when I had the alert for the news, I went huge on one of these contracts. I recognized that, like, listen, like this is going to be a pump and it's most often going to pull back. But if I can get in at the right time and if I can buy enough of the contracts, I can set myself up for, decent profit. That's another thing that you have to remember when it comes to options trading. A lot of times people will see these contracts that are real cheap. They're 15 cents, they're 20 cents, they're 25 cents, whatever the case may be. And they buy one contract. Like, listen, like you are not going to make a lot of money off of a 22-cent contract. Like, you need to go heavy into that. And that's what I did. I bought a decent amount of contracts and I played the candles. Like you can see right here. I played, again, I want to say it was this right here. I played from this entry right here, and I played it till about right here. And that was a pretty decent, that was a pretty decent scalp for me. Again, I'm a options scalper by nature. I am, I'm primarily focused on just flipping back and forth contracts. I don't care about long-term stuff. Like, listen, like I am not an investor. Like when people, like when they put on their YouTube channels or in their Twitter bios that like, I'm not a financial investor, I'm not a financial advisor. Like they do that as sort of like a tongue-in-cheek way of saying like you can't come back at me if I, give you advice and the stock, crashes. Like I am not a long-term investor. Like I have an understanding of what the market is trying to do from a overall perspective, from a long-term perspective. Absolutely. But my goal, if you were to pin me down and say, you need to make me money overnight, like I am primarily a day trader. I am primarily a scalper of options. So again, I'm not trying to focus on the long-term stuff. OCGN, like if you look at the daily on OCGN, like let's look at this. Okay. There's been, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 main spikes on OCGN. And I mean with a real big high of 1631 with a even bigger high of 1872. Am I waiting around for OCGN to maybe get to 15? No, not at all. Like I'm not focusing in on that at all. My goal as an options trader is to see what's going on in the here and now. So I'm focusing in on the 5-minute chart. Again, the 5-minute chart shows me, it filters out some of the noise. Again, I'm not focused on the 1 minute. I'm not focused on 3-minute. I'm focused on a minimum of 5-minute. I like to get past the 5 minutes. That's another issue when it comes to, I really don't like charts under 10 minutes. I'll just be honest with you. I like the 10-minute minimum. 10-minute, like that's the best one as far as filtering out the noise and stuff like that. But again, as somebody who is flipping real quickly, as somebody who is swapping options back forth, I need to be involved in a chart time frame that allows me to do that. And the 10-minute just does not allow me to do that. So I have settled in on the 5-minute. I think it's for my strategy. I think it's the best one. You might like the 3. If you like the 1, I mean, God bless you. My goodness, the 1 minute is just, it's just crazy, especially when you get into some of these stocks like Tesla and SPY and stuff like that. I can't do the 1 minute. I can't do. I tried the 3-minute. Even the 3-minute was too much for me. I was using the 3-minute for a while. But it was producing, I switched to the 5-minute, and somebody just said, I assume you make use of the hotkeys. Yeah, I actually do. I have keypad combinations that I use as far as, order entry, order exits. It really depends on which contract I'm taking. So for example, today I played, let me just pull up my Tastyworks real quick. I use Tastyworks for my primary broker. I use TradingView as far as my primary charting platform, but Tastyworks is my primary broker. So I played three main tickers today. I played OCGN, I played SPY, and I played Tesla. Tesla and SPY are primarily my two mains that I play. I played, let me see here. Tesla, I played 15 contracts, and SPY, I played like 25 contracts. And my goal with trading those back and forth is to I'm in and out quickly. Now that's another thing that people like they might say to me like, well, I've shown a lot of people what my entries and exits are, and I miss profit. Like, I'll just be 100% honest with you. Like, there's a lot of times that I have missed profit. However, I've avoided the big loss. And I think like when you are trying to set yourself up as a trader, like you need to accept one way or the other. Like, are you going to be somebody who cuts losses immediately? Or are you going to be somebody that lets your winners run and maybe have those big losses come into play every once in a while? My strategy, when I look back upon my weeks and I see how I've been profitable and where I've been, where my best trades are coming into play, I am primarily in and out as quickly as possibly as I can. I am not really holding overnight a lot. Let me just say this too. I'm not trying to say that I never hold it overnight. However, my goal at 4 p.m. on a weekday is to be completely empty of all my contracts. I've got long-term stuff that I'm playing, of course, and I've got stuff that, maybe my expiration is not for another week or, 2 weeks or whatever it is. However, my primary moneymaker is when I am trading back and forth contracts during that day. Now, a lot of times people will ask me, what's the best time to do that? And as you begin to notice when you're trading options and even commons too, there's primarily a couple, there's probably 3 time frames that you should be involved with. Number one, now I say this because I kind of laugh because I don't actually do this too often. The busiest time of day obviously is 9:30 to 10:15 Eastern time. As soon as that bell dings and then going until about 10:15, that's the busiest time of day. Then we have a little bit of a slowdown around lunchtime, and lunchtime is, basically 11:30 to 1. It just kind of depends really, but like around 1 o'clock till maybe 2 o'clock, there's a slight little gap of volume. And then we take a little bit of a break, and then 3 o'clock till 4 o'clock. That's the next big volume increase. That's your biggest friend when it comes to options trading. If you the biggest tip that I can give you as an options trader, as you are trying to develop your strategies and things like that, is to just watch charts all day long. I know really well a few tickers. Again, as I was mentioning before at the beginning of the show, I used to be one of those guys that scanned all day long. I just wanted to know like what was going on, like what was the biggest runner, who had the biggest volume, who was I just wanted to know. I had scans running on all of my monitors, and I needed to know everything that was going on in the market. And then I realized that listen, like that was not doing me any good. Like that was hurting me as an actual trader. And so I've developed a system to where I know when I can trade and be most profitable. and when I should avoid trading at all costs. So if I enter, let's say, for example, if I enter a trade at like, here's a normal day for me. Let's just kind of run through that. Okay. So I'm at my computer at 7:30, 8 o'clock. Let's just say, for example, again, I'm options trader, so I'm primarily focused on those. Options trading is only 9:30 to 4. I'm not really concerned about pre-market after hours that much. I like to know what's going on, obviously, but I can't trade until 9:30 as an options trader. So I like to be at my desk at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I'd like to find out what's going on with the overall market. I'd like to find out if there was any news. I'd like to find out what's going on with the futures. I'd like to find out what's going on with all those things. I develop a game plan for the day. And then at 9:30, I am just sort of hands off waiting. Okay. Unless I am really confident on a play. Let's just say, for example, Tesla. Tesla is one of the big stocks that I play, or SPY is one of the big stocks that I play. Let's just say there's huge news, or there is something going on that really convicts me in one way or the other. I'm not just saying just up, but if one way or the other, like they're going up, they're going down. At 9:30, I'm hands off. Okay. I am not doing anything. I am waiting for things to settle down. I'm letting things sort of bounce back and forth. I'm letting volume change. I'm letting hands change. I am just watching. Okay. That's what I do at 9:30. At about 10 o'clock, that's when I will start to think about what moves I am making right away. And then at that time, I am trying to day trade something real quick. Normally, again, from 9:30 to 10:15 to 10:30, depending on what stock it is, depending on what volume, depending on what news, all of those things can change. I am trying to get involved with a ticker as quickly as I possibly can. And so I'm day trading something. I'm scalping a bunch of times. Again, you have to remember, like you might look at an option chain and see that like this is the strike that I'm playing, and you buy one of those and it only goes up 20 cents. Like, that's not like you're not going to make a living off of that, but I'm playing 10, 20, 30 contracts. My goal is to, again, capture 10 to 30% moves. I say that all the time, 10 to 30%. I'm trying to capture, very small moves based upon a large amount of contracts. When I enter into something, I'm pretty confident on the direction that it's going. So for example, today I played SPY calls all day long. I was heavy into SPY calls, and I'm only capturing 5, 6, 7 cent moves. I'm not worried about hitting a home run. My goal as a scalper of options trading is to get on base, is to maintain a consistent average of wins. And so I'm playing 5, 10, 20, 30, whatever the contracts are, but I'm capturing, anywhere from 5 to 9 cent moves. Or again, if I'm playing something that's in a clear uptrend, then I'm letting it run. But my goal as an options trader, as my style of options trading, is I am playing in and out quickly. I am not holding overnight. That's not to say that I never hold overnight. Let me rephrase that. My goal is to not hold overnight. I don't like, when it comes to primarily trading options, okay, you are at mercy of the Greeks when it comes to options trading, okay? Now, with options trading, the biggest thing when you are buying contracts, again, buying contracts, not selling, not writing, not doing anything like that, just buying a call, you are at mercy of the theta. Okay. The theta is at the rate at which the option decays. And as you become, somebody said, so it's best to cash out options when you are up. Absolutely. Again, let me say that again. I am not a home run hitter. Okay. If you were to evaluate me as a baseball player or as an options trader, my biggest wins are going to pale in comparison to some other people. However, my consistency of profit is going to be much better. I can guarantee you that, because 2 reasons. Number one, my primary focus is when I see a target, when I see a strike that I'm going in on, if I'm going in on a specific, let's say if I'm playing Tesla and I'm playing the 600 call, I'm going heavy on that. I'm buying 10 contracts. I'm buying 20 contracts, whatever the case may be. I'm buying a lot of those contracts because I'm confident in the move that I think is going to make. I am not waiting for that contract to run up by 70 cents or by 50 cents or by $1.50. I am not messing with that at all. I am thinking that I am going to flip this contract back and forth 3 times today, and that's going to develop a consistent income for me. That's my goal as an options trader. Again, it's I am not focused on trying to get those huge wins. You know, I've had those before, don't get me wrong, because when it comes down to exiting options, that's when you really need to know, volume. That's when you really need to know price action. That's when you really need to know what's going on with the candles on the chart. However, you need to know that, like, when you enter into a trade, what's your goal as that trader? Okay. Are you planning on holding that long term? Are you planning on flipping that back and forth during the day? Are you planning on holding it overnight? Like, what is your goal as an options trader? That's like what you need to realize as you enter the trade. Again, I am primarily a flipper, a scalper. I am a day trader of options. So my goal, my goal as an options trader is not to hold for a long term. I have options that I do hold a long term. However, it's not always what I'm doing. All right. So somebody said, what indicators did you use to enter SPY calls today? All right, let's go to the market open on SPY. All right, so SPY at 9:30. Obviously, we had a large, I have the extended hours turned off. We had a large gap down this morning. My first entry on a SPY call would have been this right here. Okay. I am, again, let me draw that a little bit better. Can I not delete that? Oh my goodness. Hold on. Sorry, guys. My primary entry on a options trade, when I am scalping something, is this right here. Okay. So as you can see, the white line is my 8-day EMA. The green line is my 21. Okay. That's on the 5-minute. Okay. Like, again, you know, I don't know what, I don't know what time frame you like the best. However, mine is the 5-minute. On the 5-minute, I had an entry signal right here on this candle. As this white line crossed above the green, that's my entry. The white line is the 8-day EMA. The green is the 21. So that's my first entry signal of the day right here. Is on that signal right there. That is a confirmation for me that I am entering into this trade. And then I am riding this until, you know, I've got a couple other indicators that I use. Let me just show you one of the other ones that I use. It's probably not going to show up on this specific. Okay, so SPY was in a channel. I would have played, so the 8-day, 21-day EMA was my entry signal. And then right here would have been the cross. Okay, you see this big red candle here. I would have exited right as that white was crossing down. Okay. The main thing that I'm watching as far as exiting, I'm not necessarily focused in on that EMA cross. Okay. You know, keep that in mind. My entry is the EMA cross, the 8/21 EMA. And I use the EMA because I think the EMA is quicker. Now, let me just say this again, because everybody always messages me afterwards. And like, I don't think technical analysis is perfect. I don't think technical analysis is going to guarantee profits, blah, 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 blah. You know, I am a technical analysis trader by nature. I think that works. Like, I think developing a strategy that incorporates technical analysis will make you profitable in the long run. Like, if you hate technical analysis, that's fine. You can hate technical analysis. I love it. I think technical analysis is one of the best tools that we can use as traders. Again, you know, you don't have to. If you don't want to, tune me out. I don't care. That's what makes me profitable. I'm just telling you like it is. When I am leaving a trade, I am not necessarily watching for that cross to happen backwards. Okay. The 8 crossing up above the 21 is my entry. However, that's not always my exit. When it comes to exit, I'm watching volume. I'm watching candles. I'm watching support and resistance. Let me show you one other play that I made here today. Okay. I think it was Tesla. Oops. Sorry. Okay. So with Tesla, let me see where on the Tesla, on one of my entries on Tesla earlier today was right here at this entry, and I actually went before the EMA crossed. Okay, see this? Like, I've really become a fan of linear regression channels, support and resistance, Fibonacci's, all of those technical analysis terms. I've really become a big fan of those. I really like getting involved in a stock as it bounces off support or bounces off resistance or whatever direction I'm going. And right here, you can see that this white candle, okay, it bounced off the bottom support. This was a confirmation for me. And then I actually had the white cross above the green, which was the cross for the 8/21. That was a confirmation for me that I was to enter. Okay. Another one right here. Let me show you one other position that I did today too. I did this right here. This was an exit signal for me. Okay. You see that it bounced upon the top channel. And let me just zoom out to kind of show you what I'm doing right here. So I am playing what's called the linear regression channel. Linear regression channel is just another technical analysis tool that shows you the overall trend of what your stock is doing. And that's what this channel is doing here. Okay. So you can see Tesla gapped up. Again, I have the extended hours turned off. I'm not focused on extended hours. I'm an options trader. So I'm only focused on 9:30 to 4. I am just focused on what's going on during market hours. So we see a gap up here. Here's the bottom channel. Here's the top channel. This middle line shows you just the direction that it's going. It bounces clearly off of this top channel right here. Okay. It bounces clearly off this bottom channel right here. Right there. That's an entry signal for you. Support and resistance levels. Again, I'm incorporating multiple things. I'm not incorporating just one signal. That I think is somebody said, how much do they pay you guys to bash AMC? Man, I tell you what, when I'm not even gonna get into AMC, never mind. When you are trying to be a trader, okay, and when somebody says technical analysis does not work, I think they say that because they only use one form of technical analysis and they expect it to be like this perfect entry and exit signal. And no technical analysis is like that. That is not the case at all. You've got to have a bunch of things working together in order to get you a confirmation for entry. Now, a lot of people say, I don't do technical analysis. Like you do. You do technical analysis. Like, technical analysis is more than just turning on an indicator. Like, technical analysis is support and resistance and volume and price action and all of those things. That's what technical analysis is. Like, if you don't want to call yourself somebody who trades technical analysis, like, that's fine. Like, listen, like you are doing technical analysis when you do those things. But my goal as a trader of options, as a scalper of options contracts, I am focusing on multitude of things. Number one is that EMA cross. Again, you can see right here, I am getting it. I am getting, dang it. I am getting an enter signal right here. This is my confirmation, this little cross right there. But I am also getting an enter signal right here. Okay. You see this bottom? Like that's a confirmation for me that this stock has tried to test that bottom, that support. It's bounced off the support. And what does it do? It actually confirms that it is going in a direction of the uptrend. And then what happens up here? Test the top resistance, it bounces off of it and it pulls back. Like that's another confirmation for me. The name of the channels that I use, it's called the linear regression channel. Linear regression channel. Somebody said, do you ever use chalk and CMF or MFI to help you determine if it makes sense? I don't use either of those. So basically, let me actually just turn on the main indicators that I use. So I will use the relative strength line. I will use my support and resistance. I will use volume, and I will use, I don't know if you guys are familiar with who Ripster is, Ripster from Atlas. I use his EMA clouds. I really, really like his EMA clouds. The clouds act as a overall picture of support and resistance. I really like that setup. However, my main focus when I'm trading just on a daily basis, when I am trading on a trying to scalp options, number one, I'm using the 8/21 EMA. I use the 3 and 5 minute. I tend to focus more on the 5 minute. However, I will flip over to the 3 minute if needed. I monitor on an hour. I draw my support and resistance on an hour and on the daily. But my main entry signal is the 8/21 EMA. Then I am also incorporating what's called the linear regression channel. The linear regression channel shows you an overall direction of what the stock is doing. Again, this is not a guarantee. This is just giving you a channel between basically what the top support and the bottom resistance is. It's showing you the trend of where the stock is going based upon bouncing off top, bouncing off bottom, bouncing off top, bouncing off bottom. That's what the linear regression is showing you. Okay. It's not a guarantee, but it's giving you an idea of where you can enter, where you can exit. That's one of my favorite resources that I use. And I also am using on the daily, I am using the Fibonacci, the Fibonacci extensions, retracements, things like that. Okay. So that's one of the things that I like to use the most when I am trying to get an understanding of what's going on from a big picture on the stock. Okay. So I'll turn the linear regression off and then I will do the Fibonacci's. Okay. Fibonacci's are not a guarantee. Again, they are just a resource to help you see where support and resistance is at. I like Fibonacci's because I think a lot of traders use Fibonacci and it allows you to see in advance where that stock might possibly bounce from. Again, that's one of the main areas of resources that I use are these extensions right here. I also use the retracements to see what might actually happen with the stock. Again, you get a better idea. See it bounced off here, bounced off here, bounced off here. Like the Fibonacci is a good resource to use. Again, it's not a guarantee. Like you're not going to just be able to use the Fibonacci's and enter on the bottom on the bottom support and exit at the top resistance. Like none of these indicators are perfect. None of these indicators by themselves are going to give you 100% guarantee every single time. However, let me just say this as I end. Okay. This is my system. This is what works for me. When I am on the weekends, like I don't try to do this as much now because I've gotten a really solid, like I have a good system as far as trading right now. So I try to avoid this on the weekends. When I am, strategizing, when I am testing, this is what works for me. Again, it might not work for you. You might hate the look of EMAs. You might hate the look of support and resistance levels. Like, and now let me support and resistance levels. I think is something that you can, like, you as a trader, you have to know support resistance levels. You might not have to deal with the moving averages and things like that. However, as a trader, I think without a doubt, you have to know support and resistance. Like, that's just like, you are going to fail as a trader if you don't know support and resistance. You don't have to know moving averages. You don't have to incorporate those into your trading strategy. But support and resistance, I think you do need to know those. You need to develop a strategy that works for you. And if this is not that strategy, believe me, there's hundreds of other strategies that you can use. That's the good thing about technical analysis. There is somebody said, what's the featherhead channel tool? If I heard that right, I think you're talking about the linear regression. If I'm correct, if this is the one that you're talking about, let me know. If not, I can I'll change it back and forth, but I believe that's the one that you were talking about. Linear regression just basically shows overall trend, shows top support, bottom resistance, kind of give you an idea of what the overall, again, in Tesla here, for example, on the daily is in a downtrend. Pretty clear that it's been in a downtrend for a while. Bounced off the top support right here, and then it has now been in a downtrend. So overall, if you were to play, said no, not that one. Give me another example of which one you were asking me about. I'm sorry, I don't know which one, TB. Let me know which one that was. What platform am I using? This is TradingView. I use TradingView for all of my charting. I do everything through TradingView except order execution. I use Tastyworks for order execution. Again, I am primarily an options trader, so I am focused in on what's the best options trading platform. And I think Tastyworks is. I'm not sponsored by them. I don't get paid to plug them. They don't even know I exist. But I primarily focus on options, and so I like Tastyworks as an options platform. That is the somebody said, if I can continue on your schedule, you left off at 10 a.m. Yeah, let me finish with this. That's a good idea. All right. So basically what happens is I'm at my computer every day. The green channel, you mentioned this is one of your new favorites. Yeah, that's the linear regression. So basically, real quick, TB, like I was showing you on one of the other time frames that's showing you that the green. So it switches as far as when you go through time frames. Like, as you can see, you go from the 5 to 10 to the 1. The 1 hour is showing an overall downtrend. However, it just broke out of the downtrend, and it possibly could be reversing. You could actually draw a trend right on this bottom candle with an uptrend right there, and it's showing that you're actually trending up. So that might have been what you were talking about. Are you getting real-time data prices from Tastyworks? Yeah, I get real-time data. I don't notice any delays as far as data with Tastyworks. I enjoy them. They're quick. They're as a scalper of options, I don't notice any delays with data. I don't notice any issues as far as getting orders filled, things like that. I really like them. Again, I'm not using Tastyworks for anything other than ordering, and I'm not using them for anything other than options chains. All of my charting is done through Tastyworks. So I think that'll about do it. AB,
yes, sir. We got Money Mitch starting out.
Appreciate it.
No, yeah, I appreciate you. That's great show and great info as always. And we'll be back next week for more options with Brad.
You got it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Smash that like button. I will see you guys next Thursday. Make sure you tune in tonight for Mitch as he takes over. Appreciate you guys very much.
Adios.
See you.